All right, everyone, welcome into the Codo Bach Pitstop. We had our first short track race of the year just wrap up today at the Paperclip Martinsville Speedway, oldest track on the circuit. We're here to break down a lot of the bullshit chaos that happened, and in particular, go off and turn our heads to a certain driver in Xfinity and ask, what the hell is this guy doing today? But before we get into all that, Matt Lauterbach here, as always, and joining me, preparing to gloat to me once again for all of the right reasons because I deserve it.
Yes, Matt. I'm that guy, the co-host of Codo Bach Pitstop, Patrick Codo. It is officially Matt Hates Patrick week because one, I'll be going to Darlington next week. Two, a certain driver that Matt does not like, but I like one. And three, I'm likely going to steal your paint scheme of the week.
More than likely, more than likely. You know what? It's the beginning of Matt Lauterbach hates Patrick Coda week, and you know what? We're already going off. We're already going off in style because this guy, I've heard it from him, and rightfully so, because I continue to dunk on his driver when I shouldn't. And yeah. Yeah, it always comes back to bite me. Will I ever learn? Maybe, but I choose to be an idiot some days and live in denial.
That's right. You do get away scot-free at times.
I do
Not this
get a
time,
I do get away scot-free at times, but you know what? I'm not going to get away from it this
though.
weekend, and certainly nor is another driver in Xfinity who will not be escaping our wrath and will probably not be
Oh,
escaping the wrath of some other NASCAR media pundits.
yes. A specific someone who we liked, but then he had to be a dick, get too aggressive.
Uh,
There are good times and bad times when you can get aggressive at Martinsville, and I don't
yeah.
think that was a good time.
No, and that backfired on him horrifically yesterday.
Yep.
But before we get into all of that, Pat, let's break down and let's go over our paint scheme of the week. Whose scheme you rocking with? Who you liking?
All right. I have a feeling I'm stealing yours, but I don't care. Chris Buescher's taco scheme.
That was a good one. I was thinking of that one. That is a talk about a delicious looking paint scheme right there. I Chris Busher, that scheme won me right there. But you know what? That's not my paint. That's not my paint scheme of the week because I have others that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
So you know what? I don't hate you for that. We can cross that
Okay.
one off the list
Okay.
of me hating you for.
Okay. So that one's out of the picture, folks.
Mm-hmm. My paint scheme of the week is a belongs to a guy just got some new sponsorship, and you know, right now, as he said after the race today, it's him against the world. Denny's progressive paint scheme. I
That
actually
is
like
a,
it.
that is a good scheme. I really like that he got you know, a new big time sponsor because after he lost FedEx last year, we are thinking, oh boy, that's a huge sponsor he lost, and then he just picked up another one in Progressive. So perfect timing too. He just picked up his first win at Martinsville in over ten years, and he
Yeah,
started fire. But
yeah.
we'll get all into that later in the show because Matt, what a fucking weekend we had at Martinsville in general.
We had a fucking insane weekend at Martinsville. We had a whole bunch of bullshit chaos happen at least Truck and Xfinity, which we kind of expected, but there was
So
also
much chaos. We need to get ourselves some of those $2 hot dogs while we're killing some time because man,
oh God, I can't believe if you saw the race today, I can't believe that was like Chris Meyer's first time actually trying one of those $2 hot dogs.
the fuck? Shit,
Yeah,
I've been to plenty of fucking White Sox games where I've gotten $2 hot dogs.
yeah. Chris Myers is like 20 years behind apparently.
I'll tell you this, Matt. The day you see me at a Martinsville race, you want to guess how many hot dogs I'm going to have in my hand?
Well, you know what? Since your driver's 21, I can take that as like a safe guess. So,
That is a good guess, man. That is a good guess. I was thinking more around 20, but yeah, 21's not a bad guess either.
oh,
I mean,
so I'm not too far off. I'm not too
no,
far
you're
off.
not. No, you're not too far off either. I was gonna say, bring the beer in your coolers, buy yourself a fuck ton of hot dogs, enjoy some racing. That's an American way to enjoy fucking Martinsville.
That is the Martinsville way, the American way to enjoy a Martinsville race.
Yep.
But before we
Let's
get
start
into
off with the fucking trucks, Matt.
before we get into trucks, we actually have a new driver alert moving on up to Cup Series. We already talked
Yes.
about Austin Hill last week, moving on up to drive in a few races in Cup this year in the 33 car. Well, RCR is also getting their other Xfinity Series driver going up in Cup. Jesse Love driving the number 33 car that UC Hill drive. He will be making his Cup Series debut 2 weeks from now at Bristol. So, Jesse Love, hey, you never know. He I think
It's a
he's
really good it's a really good opportunity for some of those drivers in the Xfinity series to get, a couple cup races under their belt because let's be real. We're going to see Austin Hill and Sheldon and not Sheldon Creed, Jesse Love. It's impossible ride soon.
yes, we definitely will
Austin
be.
Hill's for sure getting a cup ride in the coming years. Jesse Love, he keeps it up. I feel like he'll get a cup ride.
Yeah.
It's a clear warning sign that those guys are going to be behind the wheels of a cup car. We
Yeah.
just don't know when. So it's
No.
good to get this experience out of the way. And the 33 car for a cup, that ain't a bad car. So
No. No, that ain't a bad car for Cup. It's honestly, I'd love to see the 33 car ride full time in Cup again. It hasn't driven full time in Cup since Clint Boyer left RCR back in 2011. So, but you never know if RCR ever gets their hands on another charter. You definitely could see that go full time. But RCR's got their own problems in Cup to figure out right now. They got to get that consistency back, and they got to figure out how to make their Cup shop just like their Xfinity shop is.
and maybe toss a specific someone out of those cars
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they both can't drive for shit. Mainly because mainly the original suspect can't drive to save his fucking life, and two, the other guy is out of his prime and old as shit.
Okay, but he can still drive though. He's
He
just
can
caught up in
still
some
drive.
middling equipment.
He can still drive,
He
but
can
he's caught
still
up in
drive.
that shit. I'd rather replace the one who can't drive for shit, and you
Oh
know
yeah.
exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, we
And
we
we saw
don't
the fucker pull a two for. We saw him pull a 2-for-1 special last year.
yeah, we don't need to name off who that fucker is. We already know who the guy is. And any NASCAR fan that remembers us going on because it's a common thing. We always mention the 2-for-1 special on this show. That was one of our first episodes. So uh
It was like a month into our run
it
of the
was a
Codo
month
Bach.
into our run, and he gave us some really good talking points to talk about in our
There was a lot of things from NASCAR last season that gave us a lot of good talking points, and this weekend is definitely giving us some good talking points.
Yeah, yeah, definitely is. Definitely is. But kudos Jesse Love. He's going to be going cup racing sometime soon in the near future. He is looking very, very good in Xfinity, but it wasn't a good weekend for him at Martinsville. We'll get into that in just a bit. So, Pat, we had truck racing on Friday night. 6:30 p.m. Race got underway. Heim Time won the pole. Corey Heim won it again, and he looked like he had the best truck out there. Won stages 1 and 2, but
Okay, so you were. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I jumped. You were gonna say Heim winning the poll. You're thinking, oh, great.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. 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 May not be
Mm.
as bad as we thought.
Yeah, wasn't as bad as we thought because the race got very, very, very unpredictable late in the going. Basically started late in the run. Heim was getting he was getting caught up for the lead. Caden Honeycutt. I'm gonna be honest, Pat. Caden Honeycutt may pick up his first win sometime in trucks this year. He's run really good.
He's been really consistent this year, and we all thought that he had a good shot on Friday because he had a fast car late in the stage. Like Corey Heim, you know, shouldn't have been comfortable at all late in the race because there were some drivers behind him that were hauling ass.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just Caden Honeycutt.
No, it wasn't just Caden Honeycutt, but Honeycutt was the first to get to him. They were battling for the lead. Coming off of turn four, Honeycutt shoves Heim into the wall. They brush off, make contact. Heim has a flat left rear tire, and the man who won both stages once again found himself with a wrecked race car. Well, he didn't wreck it. He just spun out, but that was basically the end of
I
his
wouldn't
night.
say wrecked because the Jaws music was cute. Was cute late in the race as
Okay,
well.
but he wasn't going to come. He was so far back, even if he
I know, but the way he was climbing back, I'm like, shit.
if there had been more cautions in that race, then yeah, I would have been nervous. But I was a little bit scared at the end. But Corey Heim, again, this dude has like the fastest truck week in and week out, but he just can't put it all together. He could have 4 wins by now in the season, Pat.
Exactly, but he's caught up in these situations, kind of similar to Kyle Larson, checkers or wreckers.
Yeah, he is sort of checkers or wreckers. Last week it was a battery issue that costed him, and then this week, rough racing with Caden Honeycutt that puts him in the wall, cuts his tire down,
But of
and
course, it's Martinsville, man. Everyone's always going to be bumping and grinding on that short track, man. You have to play your cards right on that track. Otherwise, we're going to see a lot of bumping and grinding. Shit.
well, we saw a lot more of that because Caden Honeycutt had some karma come his way a little bit. I wouldn't say karma because that was just hard race. It wasn't like he meant to put Heim in the wall. But anyways, the ensuing restart, him and Ty Majeski was catching up to him. It looked like Majeski was going to overtake him for the lead, but going down into turn one, racing side by side. Majeski wheel hopped the car going into turn one. We see this plenty of times at Martinsville. Will hops it, gets into Honeycutt. They both spin out, and Honeycutt smacks the back end with the outside into the outside wall. So Caden Honeycutt, he's gonna have to wait a little bit.
I was pulling for him to win on Friday. I was like, Caden Honeycutt, let's go.
Well, Majeski was my pick, but I was pulling for Honeycutt too because it's so Pat, especially with trucks, unless we go to like a restrictor plate track or super speedway, I mean, because restrictor plates don't exist anymore. It's so you
Right.
basically expect a guy like Corey Heim or Ty Majeski to really step up and dominate. But we've been waiting for another driver to step up in trucks and challenge them. And we had that, but unfortunately, Caden Honeycutt, who we thought could be that guy, it just wasn't meant to be for him.
Well, it's also still early in the season as well, so there's plenty of time for
Yeah.
Caden Honeycutt to bring his A game up.
Well, yeah, for Caden Honeycutt, I mean, looking at him right now, he's 11th in points. He is right outside a playoff spot for trucks. He's right there. He's getting it going. He's
And
just
the next race for the truck will be at another short track in Bristol. So plenty of time for Caden Honeycutt to get his act together and hopefully get his first win of the year.
well, it wasn't meant to be on Friday night, unfortunately. Caden Honeycutt found the wall late. Ty Majeski, he was able to continue on as well, but that took away their shots of winning. So then we had a couple of new players up front. We had some of the front row trucks, Chandler Smith, who last time at Martinsville wasn't a good run for him. Lane Riggs came back up. He was your pick. He spun out early in the race, but he was making his way back up front. But you had the McNally race trucks of Tyler Ankrum and Daniel Hemrick step up at the end of this one. I thought we were going to see a Tyler Ankrum. I was actually kind of worried we were going to get a Tyler Ankrum win on Friday. And he's won in trucks before, but it's been since 2019 since he won in trucks.
I was really pulling hard for Daniel Hemrick and stuff. He's there, right place, right time, and that dude had a truck.
Well, he did have a truck, especially at the end. We see this plenty of time caught up to the back of Ankrum, his teammate, and pulls the innocent bump and run on his teammate going into turn two, gets by Tyler Ankrum, and Daniel Hemrick finally, Pat, gets back to victory
Finally,
lane.
it's been a damn long time. I don't give a shit what series of NASCAR this is. Daniel Hemrick got a fucking win.
Well, it's his first ever Truck Series win. For as good as he's been, it still blows my mind. That's his first ever Truck Series win. That's
Right.
insane.
I mean, you think about it, Hemrick has kind of pulled what Sheldon Creed has done, finishing second so many times, and then came the championship in 2021.
Yeah.
Right place, right time to bump out Austin Cindric and win it.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember that night. I was working that night when Hemrick won the title, and I just remember just sneaking off somewhere to catch the end of the race and just losing my shit at the fact of, oh my God, Daniel Hemrick not only won a race, but he's a
Was
fucking
this when you were
champion.
still at Menards?
Yeah, I was at Menards. I was a junior in college. I was working at Menards one night, and yeah, that's when Daniel Hemrick won it. So I stuck off to go watch the end of the race.
Good boy.
Yep, yep. But hey, if you remember when Hemrick won the race and the title, he did a backflip, and guess what? We were treated to another special backflip style after
It
the
wouldn't
race
be a
ended.
Hemrick win without the backflip, man.
God, you know what? The backflips are always my favorite end of weight race winning celebration, just because I watched Carl Edwards do it all the time when I was a kid. Cousin Carl, God, he was such a great guy, and he always did the backflips. And Daniel Hemrick is able to carry that on now. And you know what? I was watching the race, and everyone, Jamie Little and Michael Waltrip in the booth, were doubting him that he could be able to pull it off because Daniel Hemrick ain't no spring chicken anymore. He's old.
Well, we got to remember who's calling the race as well.
Jamie Little,
Amy
yeah,
fucking Little, who literally always has her head, gets in her head too many times in the booth. Jamie, please stay as a pit reporter.
yeah, yeah. Fox, if you're listening to this, just keep
Did
Jamie
you and
on the
Mike? Did
pin.
you and Mike Joy have beers together one night?
Well, Mike
Well, I'm,
Joy is,
well, I'm sure they obviously did, but apparently,
but
I guess there was
yeah,
one night where it got a little.
got a little bit, yeah,
Daniel fucking Hemrick, though. Daniel fucking Hemrick.
yeah.
Love that celebration.
Yeah, Daniel Hemrick. I love that
Shane Van
celebration.
Gisbergen, though, will always have the best NASCAR celebration. Punting
Oh yeah, yeah.
the rugby ball.
Throwing the rugby ball. Just yeah, we need him to just toss a bunch of Kiwis up into the stands next time he wins at Chicago at the street course race. That's what we need to have happen. God, Daniel Hemrick, you know what? I'm happy for him. A lot of people doubted him. A lot of people thought he lost his touch after he got the exile from Colleague, but he goes back down, takes over Christian Eckes' ride in truck, and man, he put on a show at the end. Didn't have the strongest truck, but he was there when it mattered at the end. So, Hemdog, congratulations, my friend. You deserve this one.
Let's go, Daniel Hemrick. Second ever win, race.
Yeah, yeah. Second ever race win, first ever in truck, and I'm happy for him. Hemrick wins. His teammate Ankrum second. Jake Garcia with a great run, finishing third. Chandler Smith, much better at Martinsville this time around. He stayed out of trouble. He just
Yeah, this is definitely Chandler Smith's favorite racetrack.
yeah, for a lot of the wrong reasons. It's his favorite racetrack. If you remember
Oh,
from
Chandler.
Chandler.
Yes. But that's also Martinsville in general.
That is also
Because
Martinsville. And
a lot of chaos does like to unfold at Martinsville.
yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Chandler Smith, he didn't let Martinsville get to him this time. He took fourth. Ben Rhodes fifth. Corey Heim came back to finish sixth. How about Andres Perez de Lara driving for Spire? He was seventh. His teammate Raja eighth. Stuart Friesen ninth. And a good run for Lawless Allen, a one off in the truck. Driving the one truck, he finished in 10th. So good run. A lot of drivers in truck that we normally don't expect to see up in the top 10 finished up in the top 10. It was a topsy
But
turvy
you,
ending for
but you
sure.
love to see it though.
You love to see it. You love to see these guys start to step up and challenge the front runners like Corey Heim or Ty Majeski, start to take that next step forward and be contenders like they were on Friday night. So
Absolutely, man.
absolutely. And we would see some more of that on Saturday, and perhaps one of the most chaotic race, arguably the most chaotic race this season, Xfinity race from the paperclip on Saturday. This one started off pretty smoothly. You had a surprise pole sitter, Connor Zilisch, not known for short track racing. He started front row. He had a machine under him, dominated stage one, and then it was him and Brandon Jones who really took a step forward this weekend. They led back and forth in stage two. Connor Zilisch won it. And then we have some more chaos. The third stage of this one just had so many cautions, Pat. There were so many drivers spinning out. Tempers were blazing. You had Harrison Burton. Harry went back to his good old ways. He spun out, I think, 4 or 5 times in this one. He actually lost. I have never seen this before. He spun out, gets hit, and loses the front tray underneath the car. You'd never see an impact like that happen.
Nope.
No. So good old Harry was in control of the playoff spot, but that was sure to change on Saturday. Um, God, where do I even begin? We had Carson Quaffle and Jesse Love get involved in a wreck. They were playing bumper cars under caution. Jesse Love suffering a very unfortunate DNF. You had whole bunch of pit strategy. You had Sheldon Creed up there, Eric Almirola racing up there. But most importantly, we're going to talk about a guy in a 54 car who runs oh so good here, but he gets fucked out of wins constantly in Martinsville. Taylor Gray. You may remember last fall, it was not a good ending for him in trucks in Martinsville, driving the 54 truck. Christian Eckes pulled the bump and run on him. That costed him a championship 4 spot. And then this weekend, another Chevrolet reared its ugly head against Mr. Gray. And this time, it was driven by Junior Motorsports' own number 8, being sponsored by Flying J and Pilot for who knows why, Sammy Smith. Um,
I love the intro to this, man. I love the intro to this.
well, honestly, I don't know how you can look at Sammy Smith and call him a competent Xfinity driver anymore. I just don't know how you can do that. I really don't.
Yeah, neither do I. I really don't understand the movie pulled. I really don't understand the movie pulled late.
I don't understand the movie pulled, but Pat, let's just size it up here a little bit because late in the race we had a big accident going down the backstretch. The colleague cars who were all running in the top 10 or top 15 at this time, all took each other out. Christian Eckes, who had a great run going, gets bumped by his teammate Daniel Dye and Sam Mayer. He was running 7th at this time. He spins out, collects Dye, who went airborne, and then also proceeds to collect Josh Williams, Nick Sanchez, who was having a good run, and that just created a mess down the backstretch that caused the red flag out. And apparently during this red flag, Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith, there was contact on the track. They were not happy with each other at this point. They were not at all thrilled. And apparently Taylor Gray was giving Sammy Smith the good old number 1 finger. The good old, you know which finger. Yeah, I don't even need to say it because you're
The finger that you're basically giving me for this week. I know that for sure.
Yeah, the finger that I was giving you as you were texting me yesterday about with you gloating at me like you always do for the win.
Yeah, no, there's a specific number 1 finger that people love to flash up and stuff. I mean, yeah, it's a very interesting number 1 finger and stuff. Can you can you folks figure out what that special number 1 finger is?
How can I not? I mean, it's the one that you're itching yourself right now in your face, so
Yeah. I mean, we've seen some people flash that number 1 finger. I mean, Kyle Busch flashed that number 1 finger at Joey Logano. I remember Chase Elliott flashed it at Kyle Busch at Darlington.
maybe that was the problem. Maybe Taylor Gray had an itch. He was scratching himself on his helmet, and maybe he just accidentally
Like,
had the middle
like,
finger, and that just happened to be right
I'm
at.
scratching my head because we have idiots on the track, and there's one specific idiot that I can't stand. That fucking Sammy Smith guy. God damn it! I want to win this fucking race.
Well, they had a lot to say about each other, but that all picked up because thanks to this red flag, we had overtime. Wonderful, lovely NASCAR overtime. Surely nothing's gone wrong with that before in the past.
Oh,
But
at Martinsville? Oh yeah. Well. We all remember Ayer knocking out Noah a couple years ago.
yeah, we all remember that, and we all remember the night that Sheldon Creed became a renegade against RCR. We remember those
Yep,
nights. We
that too. That too.
we
No,
all
yeah, a lot of shit went. Yeah, a lot of shit went down at Martinsville. I believe Ty Gibbs is public enemy number 1 to Martinsville as well.
Yeah, he definitely is. And that picked up on the restart. It was a late race restart. You had Sammy Smith against Brandon Jones on the restart. It looks like it was going to be a battle for them for the win. And then Taylor Gray looking for his first ever Xfinity win, his first ever win in NASCAR's top three levels, by the way. Uh, pull an innocent bump and run on Sammy Smith going into turn two, clears Sammy Smith, takes the lead, and Taylor Gray, it looks like this was going to be it. It looks like we were going to crown another first time winner this weekend. I was honestly thinking of naming this video a weekend of first time winners because that's how I thought Taylor Gray was going to win. But instead, going into turn three on the last lap, Taylor Gray already way out ahead. Sammy Smith pulls a bonsai. What the hell are you doing? Move. Spins Taylor
Worse than
Gray
Austin
around.
Dillon's.
Um, I wouldn't call it worse than Austin Dillon's because that was a 2-for-1 special, but this isn't far behind. This isn't far behind. And then
Nope.
makes matters worse. Basically gets so far up the track that he allows his teammate Justin Allgaier to get up alongside him for the lead. But Sammy Smith comes down, breaks Allgaier's momentum. Austin Hill gets into the back of Allgaier. It's just a clusterfuck. They're all going everywhere. Sammy Smith, Allgaier, Brandon Jones, who were the top three at that point, tangle. They spin out, creates a multi-car accident. And unfortunately for me, this is why I'm more pissed off at this than you are, because the lucky motherfucker who wins this race on Saturday, thanks to Sammy Smith being a complete idiot in one corner, is Austin fucking Hill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is right. That is right.
And
Austin Hill it once again.
yep, and as always, claiming second. If it was an Olympic sport, he would have more wins by now than Austin Hill does. Finishing second again was Sheldon Creed.
Allow me to play you the mini violin.
This is serious. I know this really is the world's smallest violin. It's about as small as the chances of Sheldon Creed ever having a moment go his way in these type of moments.
Hey, Austin Hill stayed consistent throughout the race. It was just a right place, right time situation for him.
It was a right place, right time situation for him. So Austin Hill gets his second win of the year, his first on a short track. Right place, right time for him.
First
Sheldon,
ever at Martinsville, too. I love it.
yeah, Martinsville hasn't been kind to Austin Hill. That's been one of his worst tracks statistically, but he managed to break through and be at the right place at the right time. I don't know how Lady Luck is on his side, but you know what? Can't be beggars and choosers.
Nope, but
Nope.
I will take it.
You will take it. Austin Hill wins and he cashes in.
Or reasons
At,
to get drunk at the wedding last night.
yeah, more reason for you to get drunk at your wedding. But Austin Hill wins, and even more of a kudos for him. He cashes in that Dash for Cash $100,000 check by being the highest in the Dash for Cash race. It was between him, Sheldon Creed. Of course, you can't expect Sheldon to win anything, including a Dash for Cash race, which he doesn't need to finish in first place for. He doesn't. And also finishing ahead of him, Justin Allgaier and Sam Mayer. So looking ahead, we already looked at the top two. Justin Allgaier finishing third. Brennan Poole, a strong race, fourth, driving that 44 car for Alpha Prime. Sam Mayer, another good run in fifth. Dean Thompson, sixth. Daniel Dye with a great run yesterday. That team's been getting better. They were seventh. Ryan Sieg, eighth. Chris Wright, a good run in ninth. And everyone's favorite driver at this moment in time, Sammy Smith, rounding out the top 10. So,
There's your new public enemy number one right there.
well, let's talk about what happened after the race. So, Taylor Gray, obviously, very upset with Sammy Smith. Who wouldn't be upset about that one?
Every right to be upset.
Had a very good right to be upset. Taylor Gray stormed off. He did do an interview, but he basically just said, you know, gave us what we all expected. He was not happy at Sammy Smith. And Taylor Gray went right to the infield care center yesterday, basically waited for Sammy Smith to get out. And
I think there's a lot of drivers that should be pissed off at Sammy Smith taking a look at the replay yesterday.
yeah, there absolutely should be. Taylor Gray, obviously numero uno in that line. Went
Yes.
up to Sammy Smith afterwards, and if there weren't a bunch of big bodies standing around them, Pat, they were just gonna tangle and just duke it out on the ground right outside the care center.
Just like Kyle Busch and Ricky Reckhouse last season.
Yeah, yeah,
The only entertainment in that fucking All-Star race.
yeah. Only entertaining part was at the end because everyone tuned back in to see Ricky just waiting for Kyle Busch at the hauler.
Yep.
Only entertaining part. But yeah, Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray not happy about it at all. They were arguing with each other. Taylor Gray was basically looking for a way to get around the big bodies and go after Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith was as well, but they were separated. Sammy Smith gave an interview, and really, I got to look at this. Pat, this is again another problem with NASCAR's newest generation of young drivers. Sammy Smith said afterwards he wasn't proud of the move. He expected drivers to be mad at him, but when asked if he would apologize to Taylor Gray, he said no. He has no respect for me. He flipped me off under caution. He swerved at me throughout the race and basically said when he flipped me off under caution, there went away any respect I had for him. Like, come on, man. You're really gonna get that
Did I hear that right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
First admitting that he fucked up, but he's not sure. The fuck? What the fuck? What? Sammy Smith, did you have a concussion in that wreck?
Honestly,
Clearly sounds stupid as fuck in there, especially when you're letting a specific. Let me scratch my head real quick with that finger. A specific number one finger offend you.
yeah.
People flash that finger all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy Smith, I understand you probably had the silver spoon fed to you. That's why you probably have Flying J and Pilot sponsor you all this time. But seriously, people flip each other off all the time, man.
And it's not just in NASCAR. It's not just in NASCAR. We're seeing people obviously flip each other off and flip each other off in road while driving and stuff on the road. And some people, for some reason, get a fit about that. Hell, I remember actually watching a video of a tanker truck driver getting so offended of a birdie finger, he pulled out his fucking gun.
I mean, it just I literally okay, I understand.
It's just a finger.
It's just finger. That's all it is, man.
Like, you really expect everyone to be nice in NASCAR? No.
No.
Nobody's nice.
No. Nobody's, especially at a short track like Martinsville. You honestly expect we don't know what happened before to prompt Taylor Gray to flash the number one finger at Sammy Smith. But Sammy Smith, I literally just got to look at you and say, really? That's your whole reasoning for why you decided to dive bomb it and just rear end Taylor Gray going into turn 3? Like, really? That's your reason?
Some people will just say, "Cool, fuck you too."
Yeah, some people literally the older NASCAR.
Pat, you could also shut the fuck up at times.
You could you could
you could still keep that shit in your head, but we don't need to know that the middle finger was the main reason why.
Well, yeah, we don't need to know about that. I honestly watching when I got home from
there's a lot of shit from these drivers, Matt, that we don't need to know about.
No. And when I got home last night and I saw the race, rewatched the race, and I went right to the end to see Sammy Smith's interview. And when he said that, I'm like, boy, I literally felt like Stanley from The Office, like, boy, have you lost your mind? Because I hope you find it. Like, seriously. I do not know.
So there's another driver that turned to the dark side, obviously, from Martinsville. The fall was Mr. Chandler. Oh, yeah. The Smith boys, a nice group of the Smiths.
God, no relation, mind you, no relation, but still, Yeah, no relation. There's so many Smiths in NASCAR. You'd think there's one big Smith family at this point, but no, there's
Well,
more
and then
than
Smith is also a pretty popular name and stuff around the country.
it is a very popular name, but unfortunately, the Smith boys are infected by whatever the hell is happening at Martinsville with the Xfinity series. So
So
I
basically, one Smith for another to pull a dick move.
Yeah, yeah. One Smith turns to another to pull off a dick move. And watching that interview last night, I literally lost a ton of respect for Sammy Smith. I think he's a decent driver. He's not a bad driver. He was up there leading yesterday. He deserved a top five, but what and that move happened, and then for him to say all that after getting out of the care center and arguing with Taylor Gray yesterday, I lost a lot of respect for Sammy Smith right there. So I'm curious what Dale Jr. will say about this one because this is very uncharacteristic for some of the junior motorsport drivers. I mean,
Some drivers just need to get their heads out of their asses, dude.
well, and this is a problem with the young generation of NASCAR, Pat, is you have a lot of these rookie drivers, young
A lot of
drivers.
rich wannabes.
Yeah, rich wannabes who I don't doubt they're talented race car drivers. I think they're plenty talented, but the problem is they get so offended so easily about the slightest of stuff. I mean, sure, if Taylor Gray
America is already offended from already stupid shit. Don't let a specific finger offend you in NASCAR.
no, I literally there. I look at the older generation of NASCAR with Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, even like the 2000s, Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson. You wouldn't really see them get
Sheesh,
upset
you're
about
leaving out
someone
a
with a
lot of
finger.
names. Rusty Wallace, of
Rusty
course.
Wallace. You wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't
Mark
see
Martin,
Mark
Carl
Martin.
Edwards.
Well, you wouldn't see those guys flip out and just like dive bomb and just punch somebody over a middle finger being given to them. That's just very I
That's
found
embarrassing. That's embarrassing to be quite honest to the sport in general.
it's embarrassing to the sport indeed. It just shows you what NASCAR is sort of becoming with a lot of these young drivers who come up
The young
and
drivers are literally turning it into a circus.
they are because they're going out there, they're getting offended easily with stuff like this, and they're using their cars like weapons in this situation here. Like, I don't agree.
Some deadly weapons.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it
I
already
mean,
in the
Sammy Smith is a prime example because not only did he take out Gray, but he also took out a bunch of other cars right behind
he
him.
he took out
And
his
drivers like
teammate.
drivers like Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed were very lucky to avoid that shit.
Yeah, I mean that God, Austin Hill should be writing Sammy Smith a big thank you card on behalf of RCR for giving them that win. I mean, like you literally handed a win to the fifth place driver right then and there for wiping out the top 4 or 5. Like
Well,
I
we've seen our fair shares of shit happening with the leaders and stuff. Kyle Larson in the 2021 Pocono race where his tire went out, that shit happened. Obviously, we had the 2-for-1 special disqualification in Pocono the following summer with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. But yeah, no, we've seen a lot of shit get fucked up with the leaders.
well, and a lot of it has to do with some, and I love the Xfinity series. I love a lot of the young drivers in Xfinity moving up and getting the opportunity. But when they race like damn idiots and get in over their heads, it's just it's embarrassing for the
Martinsville
sport.
has been that track lately.
It has been that track for Xfinity, and
Obviously, 2022, Ty Gibbs punting
yeah.
his teammates, Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed beating and banging, Chandler Smith in the fall, and now we got this shit with Sammy Smith.
Well, you know what, NASCAR, you know what, you can look at this and say it's embarrassing for the sport, but you know what, NASCAR knows what they're doing because this creates those storylines. This creates a lot of juicy, catchy stories that people want to hook on to. And Sammy Smith is another one right to that collection right then and there.
I wonder what kind of karma he's going to get at Darlington next week.
Well, he may get some karma from NASCAR because it was announced today that NASCAR is reviewing the incident at the conclusion of yesterday's race, and they are going to determine at some point in time this week if Sammy Smith will be penalized in some way, shape, or form. So we could see a penalty being handed out to one Samuel Smith at some point in time this week. And I just want to get your reaction or your prediction on that, Pat. If there's a penalty, what do you think will happen?
Well, let me start by saying this, man. If Sammy Smith gets a penalty, then a lot of people are going to bitch and moan about Ty Gibbs not getting one in 2022.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's because literally he pulled the literally a very similar, literally similar to what Gibbs did to Brandon Jones in 2020. He's saying like, "Oh, Ty Gibbs should have got that then," and stuff.
Yeah.
First and foremost, we're going to hear a lot of bitching and moaning.
Right.
That's a good question though, because it wasn't like a bad, bad
No.
punt like Austin Dillon did to Denny Hamlin and
No.
Joey Logano at Richmond.
No. And
To
Sammy
me,
Smith didn't even win.
it's really hard to tell.
I could see a fine, maybe. I could
A
see a fine.
fine for sure, maybe not a penalty because obviously it's a short track. Sometimes things are out of your control. I thought Sammy Smith could have avoided punting Taylor Gray,
Yeah.
but I'd say a fine. I'd say a fine. No
Maybe
penalty, no suspension. I'd say a fine.
maybe a little bit of a loss of points, like maybe 25 points loss, something. We saw that with Austin Hill last year at Charlotte after wrecking Cole Custer under caution.
Right,
But,
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
Sammy
no.
Smith,
A fine and points deducted is what I believe NASCAR will do. NASCAR is going to do something because if they don't, then this sport's just going to be is just going to
well,
continue to be embarrassing and shit.
Well, you said how they should have done something to Ty Gibbs back in 22. Maybe this is NASCAR sort of realizing their past mistakes and saying and starting to put their foot down and say, "Okay, the time is enough. We need to
Because
start."
obviously we know what happened in the next race. Ty Gibbs won a fucking championship race. And if they done something,
Yeah, it could have been a Noah Gragson championship.
low key, they should have just not, they should have just
Yeah,
deducted points and he's not in the championship. And Noah Gregson's your winner.
right, right. Yeah, exactly. So,
And Gibbs was already locked into the championship before he punted Jones.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I think for Sammy Smith, the punishment is going to come in the form of a loss of a lot of respect. Sammy Smith was a guy. He never really had too much going against him before this. He seemed very chill, very
Well, until
laid back.
now,
Yeah, until now, and that's all changed in just a matter of moments. So,
I can't wait to hear the Boo Birds at Darlington on
oh,
Saturday. I might be one of those Boo Birds.
you may very well be one of those boo birds, but yeah, Sammy Smith not getting a whole lot of love right now for in the Xfinity series, and yeah, he's become public enemy number one. But Pat, we shift gears from the chaos on Saturday to a somewhat more calmer race today at Martinsville for the Cookout 400. Why don't they just make it 500 miles? I really don't know. Like
Well,
just
it's funny you say that about the Cup from Martinsville. Martinsville for 7 cars came, but now it's been picking up lately, and very
yeah.
impressed with the racing we saw today.
Oh, well, we just got a bit of an announcement after the race that I'm just looking up right now, but we'll get to the rest of the race before we get to that. Literally just popped on my phone and saw something happen. But we'll get into it right now. We had Christopher Bell, former winner here, C Bell, won the pole for this race. He took off and set sail early. It looked like it was going to be a Christopher Bell type day. Then we had some pit strategy come in with some cautions. Late at the end of stage one, we had a bit of a shakeup as um, Carson Hocevar and Chris Buescher tangled down the front stretch. Pat, your paint scheme of the week wasn't looking so fresh after that one.
No,
Yeah,
no, he wasn't. And yeah, Chris Buescher. Yeah, that was a really big dick move on Buescher on that part.
Well, yeah, we put Carson Hocevar in the spotlight a lot, but that was really on Busher right there. He did
Yeah,
not have
Chris
Hocevar.
Buescher, you're next, and you destroyed Noah's AW root beer scheme, which that was a candidate as well for paint scheme of the week on my end. But that
Yeah,
taco car,
that taco car. Ooh, that taco car was looking a bit fresh.
probably the only good thing from Chris Buescher today, his beautiful taco car.
Yeah, it was not a good day for Chris Busher or some of the other drivers from RFK. We'll get into that in a second. But we had
Right.
some pit strategy at the end of stage one, and another guy driving a lesser good looking yellow car by the name of Joey Logano played pit
Mm.
strategy to claim stage one over Alex Bowman, and AJ Allmendinger had a good day. Stage two then commenced, and then we had some more decent racing. You had your guy Chase Elliott up there battling up front. You had Seabell up there. Logano was up there. Denny Hamlin was up there. We did have some more accidents in this one. Riley Herbst trying to go three wide on the outside of Austin Cindric down into turn one. That never ever works. And Herbst spun himself out.
Yep.
Seriously, don't know about Riley Herbst in Cup Series. No, I really don't.
Yeah, give him some time.
I'll give him some time, but I don't know. It's not looking the best. But a man who knows this place really well, but hasn't won here in a long time, driving that 11 car with new sponsorship, made his presence felt midway through this race. And his name is Denny fucking Hamlin. He came through like a rocket, got by Christopher Bell, got by Bubba Wallace, got by Chase Elliott, got by Kyle Larson, and he took home the win in stage two. And then we had some more action in stage three. We had SVG lose a tire, spin out, and he ended up
That
losing the
guy's had some
entire.
shit luck so far to start with Cup, man.
SVG, we kind of saw that there'd be some growing pains going full time in Cup. It's only top 10 so far, I believe, is at the Roval, but yeah, he's got some things to work out on right now. It ain't gonna be all sunshine and rainbows unless it's a street or road course race for SVG.
Right.
Yeah, he lost a right rear wheel after the end of that one. It was a very long day for him. Our favorite driver, Joey Logano, spun out. Chase Elliott clipped the curb in turn three, got into Logano, spun him out, and then he got into it with Ross Chastain. That's apropos. Uh, those drivers were not happy with each other after the race. I got to find that quote. But really, the man who set sail and took off with this one late in the going was Denny freaking fracking Hamlin. He led 274 of the last 275 laps. And Denny Hamlin, no longer riding a FedEx paint scheme, now the progressive paint scheme, holds off his teammate Christopher Bell, Bubba Wallace, and Chase Elliott. And for the first time since this race 10 years ago, Denny Hamlin wins at Martinsville, his first win of 2025. And Pat, this was an interesting post race celebration. We know Denny Hamlin and the fans, they don't like each other. They do not like each other.
Well, he just took that to another level with this post-race celebration.
Yeah, so apparently we all know about the Dallas Cowboys against the world. We all know about that. I think Denny Hamlin is.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Dallas Cowboys against the world. I
Yeah.
think Ohio State against the world is more appropriate than the Dallas Cowboys against the world.
Yeah, as of this time of day, yeah. We saw any college football fans. We saw it happen with Ohio State, but they did do us a solid, and they beat Notre Dame at least, which I'm thankful for. Thankful
They
for
did,
that.
so we'll take that.
We'll take that. But Denny Hamlin gets out of the car, and him and his team, they had a new little celebration for the fans at the end of this race. He holds out a 11 against the world sign. So, oh boy.
Denny, while I love the shit talk, boy, you need a championship to back that up,
You
man.
need a title to back that up. Maybe.
You need a championship to back up all that shit talk. Like, I beat your favorite driver. Okay, that's respectable. Like
Yeah.
that's fine. But 11 against the world?
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I do not know about that one.
Little too extreme, but obviously it's Denny Hamlin, knowing that he's got, knowing that he's hungry for that
Yeah.
championship. He's hungry for that championship, and he's delivering a message saying, "I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming."
He's coming,
Time is
but
ticking too on himself, man. It ain't
yeah,
slowing down, and he's getting older.
he is. He is
Is
definitely
this the spark? Is this the spark for Hamlin to get something going and potentially
yeah.
cross victory lane in Phoenix this November?
Hey, you never know. It could very well be, but Denny Hamlin is still not winning the fans over with this one here. I mean, I already beat your favorite drivers was enough, but I I really
You
can't.
know what? Let him talk. Just let him talk.
All I can say is I can't wait to tune into Denny Hamlin's podcast tomorrow just to see
Let
what
him
he has
let
to
him
say.
let him talk, and he'll get the karma, and karma will bite him in the ass.
Oh yeah, karma will bite him again when he makes it to the playoffs again this year. Just wait. It's gonna happen. I mean, Denny, I want you to win a championship just as much as any other of your 12 fans out there do. But you know what? I yeah. I don't know how you're gonna be able to win the other fans over with stunts like that. The fans were not giving him a whole lot of love there. They were booing him at the end when they saw that flag.
Yeah, they were booing the fuck out of him.
Yeah, they were not happy. I honestly thought we were gonna. When I saw him win the race, I thought we were gonna get the return of I beat your favorite driver again, but no, he had to one up that.
Man, I'm telling you this. He Denny had something else pulled out of his sleeve.
Yeah,
You knew since it's been a while since he won a cup race
yeah,
because his last cup win was um
Dover.
Richmond of Rich Dover, thank you. Dover of last year. It's been almost a year.
Yeah, it has been. I think he's been through a lot. Obviously, him losing the FedEx sponsorship, that was a lot. I think he went into this season a little bit unsure with the lack of sponsorship that team was getting, and also a bit of a change. He lost Chris Gabehart as his crew chief. Gabehart got promoted to an executive role at Joe Gibbs Racing, but I'm telling you, man, ever since he got that new sponsorship with Progressive going, and he's got that new paint scheme, he's got that main sponsor going now. He looks like the Denny Hamlin of old. Like he
Yep.
is.
And sure this is his first win at Martinsville since 2015, spring of 2015, because we obviously know who won the fall race in 2015.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, Denny is pretty consistent on this trick.
He has.
Very consistent driver, and he finally got over the humps.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for him here. He finally gets it done when it matters the most. Denny Hamlin, he loves the short tracks, man, and you know what? He's going to be looking really good. That we got some more short track racing coming up here in the next couple weeks. But
Exactly.
yeah. So it's Denny Hamlin, his first win of the year. It's a 1-2 finish for Joe Gibbs Racing. Seabell takes second. 1-2-3 for Toyota. Bubba with a strong run. He took third. I was really happy with that. Chase Elliott, your guy, in fourth. Kyle Larson, fifth. Ross Chastain, sixth. And Pat
Bubba's been very
Chase.
quietly consistent
Bubba's been quietly consistent and he's been outrunning his teammate Tyler Reddick. So it is very good to see for Bubba.
here.
Yeah.
Bubba right now are in the top 10 in standings, so that's so far so good.
Bubba and who else?
Bubba and Reddick
Oh, yeah.
currently sitting top 10 right now.
Well, this is what 2311 needs. 2311 needs this, and they're going to get more of that with Bubba running good. Your guy, Chase Elliott, took fourth. Kyle Larson rounds out the top five. Ross Chastain in sixth. And Pat, this guy keeps getting better and better each and every week. Ryan Preece is looking like the best guy at RFK right now. He takes seventh. Joey Logano, eighth. Chase Briscoe, ninth. And Todd Gilliland, a strong run rounding out the top 10 in that 34 car. So
You would have never convinced me, Matt, before the beginning of the season that Ryan Priest would be sitting in the top 10 after Martinsville. You would have never convinced me.
I, God, no. I mean, Ryan Priest. Well, Priest he's 16th in points right now. He's in a chase spot or a playoff spot right now, I should say. But you could make the argument that he's been the most consistent RFK driver in the past couple weeks. I mean, Busher's been hit or miss, and
Bush has been hit or miss. Brad just has no luck at all.
yeah, no luck at all for Brad Keselowski. I mean, he got some stage points today, but that that six team, they are struggling right now to get some momentum going.
Yeah, that's not a good look for Brad Keselowski.
No, it's not. But you know what, Pat? He goes to the track that we go to this coming weekend. He won there last year. They may be able to right the ship for him. We have coming up this weekend Darlington for Xfinity and Cup. And the man who I love so much right now, sitting across from me on this screen, will be going to Darlington. You lucky son of a bitch.
Not to mention too, we're also going to check out the shops in Charlotte and the Hall of Fame. I bet you're ready to release your inner Darth Vader.
You know what? I hope I'm Vader, and I hope you're Admiral Ozzel looking at me from the other side of the screen, and I just like, I just, that's exactly what I'm kind of hoping for right now. But I love you, buddy. I would never. I would
Me
never.
too.
I would
Yeah,
never.
no. Yeah, I'm excited to go check out a new track. Darlington, that's a track I wanted to check out.
Yeah.
Felt the race weekend fell at a good time, so I'm
Yeah.
fucking going.
Yeah, you'll be at Darlington all weekend. So if you see any weird people decked out in Austin Hill gear on Saturday, and if you see the same man running around in Chase Elliott gear on Sunday, please call your local care physician. You may be infected by this guy at some point in time if you end up going to Darlington Raceway this weekend. I'm just giving anyone who goes to the racetrack on at Darlington this coming weekend a very heads up to keep an eye out for such a specific person.
Well, for the Sunday part, a lot of people are gonna have to be making that phone call on Sundays.
Yeah,
Saturday, we'll see. I feel like Saturday, I might see more birdie fingers than fans
you may see
of
more.
Mr. Hill.
Yeah, you may see more birdie fingers directed at another driver besides Austin Hill. So you never
Oh,
know.
I got my birdie fingers. I got my birdie fingers ready for that driver.
Yeah, we need not say who he is. We've already talked about him enough on this show. He doesn't give us giving him the satisfaction of naming him again.
Yeah. We're basically saying our name like we don't say that one name in the Harry Potter movies.
You know who. You know
Yeah,
who.
some bald fuck.
Yeah. Well, he may be some bald fuck soon, honestly, if he keeps running like
He
he
he is
does.
a bald he is a bald fuck.
He is. But Pat will be going to Darlington this weekend. I hope you have a good time there, buddy. That's a track that sounds really fun to go to, and I hope it's a lot of good racing for you. So we'll do a preview for
Darling, the lady in black never disappoints, so I'm looking forward for it.
it's the track Too Tough to Tame, and we're expecting some unpredictableness this weekend coming up at Darlington. No racing for Truck this weekend. They have an off week. They'll be back in 2 weeks from now at Bristol. We do have Xfinity on Saturday afternoon and Cup on Sunday afternoon, the throwback race at Darlington. We're already getting some nice throwback schemes, and we're expecting some more to be released this week.
There's a lot of good schemes and there's a lot of ugly ass schemes. Oh my god.
Yeah, your guy in particular rocking a not so good scheme.
Whoever designed that scheme at Hendrick Motorsports needs to be fired immediately, especially with the schemes that Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, and William Byron are driving.
Yeah.
Those three cars literally make Elliott look like a bitch. You're
Yeah.
making making the scheme of NASCAR's most popular driver scheme look like a bitch, a big
Yeah.
bitch.
I that does not remind me of Ken Schrader's Kodiak scheme from the 80s at all.
They fucked up badly.
Yeah, they fucked up big time there.
So, which also means, Matt, for paint scheme of the week next week, oh, it's going to be too tough to tame because
It's
there's
going
a
to be too tough to tame. It's going to
what
it's
I
going to
did
be
there.
yeah, I see what you did there. I love what you did there, buddy. I
There's
like it.
a lot of good ones that we might have to throw in some honorable mentions,
We will definitely have to throw quite a bit of honorable mentions, but before we do
and I
that,
might
Pat,
be stealing yours.
hey, you know what? It's throwback weekend. I got a lot of good paint schemes, so you won't be stealing mine because I'll just have plenty of others lined up to go.
A lot of them definitely are paint scheme of the year candidates,
Oh, come on. You already got to imagine that with throwback
and then
weekend.
there's one that's the worst paint scheme of the year candidate.
Throwback weekend brings out the best and worst in terms of the paint department for NASCAR. It really does. It really does.
It does.
It does. But Pat, let's make our predictions for Darlington. Last year we had Justin Allgaier win in Xfinity, and on Cup we had bad Brad Keselowski and a long winless drought thanks to Tyler Reddick and Chris Buescher tangling late in the race. Will we see more of that? You're gonna be all there to catch the action. Pat, who you rocking with Xfinity on Saturday? That action starts 2:30 p.m. Saturday afternoon.
There's a lot of drive. Obviously, this race, this track puts out some good racing. You know what, Matt? I'm gonna go with the long shot right here and say we'll see Carson Quaffle in victory lane.
Ooh, okay. Carson Quaffle, first time winner. You know what? I'm also gonna go a first time winner for Xfinity. This man loves this racetrack. He's won here in truck before, and he had this race won back last fall. He had this race won until late caution screwed him over. His pit crew screwed him over. He had to settle for third. That he's second so many times, but you could argue that was his most painful loss. But he's gonna come back here and he's going to get vengeance. Give me Sheldon Creed. He's gonna break through this weekend.
You're just saying that so that could happen when I'm there.
Hey, you know what? That'd be the best thing to happen. You know what? God makes me mad at you for going, but then God makes you mad at me for picking Sheldon Creed to win, and he does win.
And then he finishes second.
If he finishes second again by just mere inches, I swear to God.
If he finishes second, I'm sure I'll be able to hear you from the track wherever the fuck you are on
Oh,
Saturday.
yeah, yeah. You will hear me scream from however many miles away Darlington is from Crest Hill, Illinois. You will hear me scream on the top of my
Yeah.
lungs if I end up seeing that happen again with my own eyes. And he's had some painful defeats at Darlington. Almost should have won here in 22, but got gained up on by Noah and Kyle Larson late. But you
Yes.
know what? Sheldon Creed's grown a lot. He's matured. I'm gonna pick him to win. This is his favorite. He even says this is his favorite racetrack. So I am going to give him the edge on Saturday. But I'm expecting myself to be let down. But all right, so we got our picks for Saturday, and now on to Sunday for the Cup race. No longer Mother's Day weekend racing at Darlington. That goes back to Kansas. But Pat, who are you liking for Cup? Are we going to see a throwback scheme? Are we going to see a normal scheme in Victory Lane on Sunday? Who you like?
Well, for schemes, we're going to take a look at a Ford for this one because this is a guy that's coming for revenge after getting fucked out of a win last year at Darlington.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're gonna see Chris Buescher on Sunday.
All right, Chris Buescher, I like that pick. Chris Buescher, your paint scheme of the week guy, should have won this race last year. Had him and Tyler Reddick not tangled there at the end. You
He
like
should
that
have
pick?
won that in the Kansas spring race.
Yeah, he would have been in the playoffs.
He's
No,
he's a wreck and an inch away from being in the playoffs.
yeah, he is
He's
literally
he's
you.
a wreck and an inch away from the playoffs.
Yeah, you can't make that shit up. You just can't.
No, you cannot. And if one of those even goes in his favor, he's in the fucking playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt. Because arguably, well, Darlington's a bit up in the air because you don't know how the rest of that race would have played out. Reddick could have caught up to him. Bad
But the way he
Brad.
was racing and stuff, I thought he could have pulled it off and stuff.
He
But
could have. Yeah.
you could make a good argument from Kansas that, all
Yeah.
thought he won.
Yeah. Yeah, he should have won that one too, but nope. It's just it's been unbelievable for what's been happening to Chris Buescher. But you know what? I can see him totally making up and getting some redemption going here this coming weekend at Darlington. I do like that pick a lot. All right, my pick. You know what? I'm gonna be a little bit ballseye in this one because this man's won me over a little bit. He's been running very consistent, and he won a pole here at Darlington last year and had a decent race going before he got wrecked out. You know what? You don't associate Darlington with this guy, but I think he's been figuring it out, and I'm going to give it to him. Ballseye pick for sure, but I feel confident in it. Give me Bubba Wallace.
You know what, man? With how consistent he's been so far this year, I like the pick.
Yeah, Bubba's been getting better. I think that
He's
team is
been leading a lot too. We saw it happen at Homestead last week. He
yeah,
stayed up there in the top 10 today at Martinsville.
yeah.
I like that pick. I would love to see Bubba in victory lane.
And he runs decent here at Darlington. He runs pretty well. I mean, he's not like up front leading all the laps, but he won the pole here back in the fall, led early on in the race. Then he got hosed on some bad pit stops and being involved in a late wreck that ended his playoff hopes. But you know what? I feel confident that Bubba's gonna do really good this weekend. I am very
I
confident
agree.
in that. So, all right, we got our picks for this weekend at Darlington. Pat's gonna go and live it up. He's gonna be leaving here later this week and
Leaving on
enjoying
Wednesday morning.
leaving on Wednesday morning. He's gonna be enjoying himself. Me, I gotta get packed up. I got myself an apartment out in Mishawaka, getting ready for my new job. So, gonna see a change of scenery here in just a couple short weeks, I'm afraid. But as we wrap up the show, of course, we end with our winners and losers of the week. Pat, I already kind of am guessing who you got for winners and losers of the week. It's Martinsville. There's bullshit chaos everywhere, but let's hear it.
Well, my winner of the week this week is going to be Denny Hamlin for finally finding his way back in victory lane for the first time in almost a year.
Yeah.
My loser of the week, Alex Bowman,
Oh,
started in the top 5 today,
wow.
fell all the way back.
Jeez. Yeah, he was a no-show there at the end. He was a fucking no-show right there at the very end. Uh wow.
What?
Yeah. That
Finished
was
20. Yeah, that just happened.
yeah. And he was your winner of the week last week too.
Yeah, my winner of the week. He goes from my winner of the week last week to my loser of the week. Raced so good in Miami, only to take a gigantic atomic shit at Martinsville, aka Hendrick Motorsports' playground.
Yeah. And he's won here too before at Martinsville. That's what I don't get. Granted that comes with that one came with a lot of controversy, but still, Alex Bowman usually runs pretty good here
Well,
at
that
this
was
race.
the
Yeah. That was the beginning of the
yeah, and today he did not.
yeah.
Today he did not. Basically, took an atomic shit.
Yeah, today he was a complete hack in this race. So
Oh, big time hack.
big time hack. So Alex Bowman going back to hack status on Pat's list.
For now.
For now. For now. Watch him exceed expectations and go back to winner of the week at Darlington next week.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy. All right, my winner of the week. So my winner of the week is going to be Daniel Hemrick. Hemdog
I like it.
finally making his way back to victory lane, giving us a cool ass celebration at the end of the race. I loved it. Daniel Hemrick, he's a fan favorite. How can you not like the guy? He's very likable. And my loser of the week, I just don't know how you can't pick him. He's Sammy Smith. He's a dumbass.
He is a dumbass.
Yeah, it went from being a pretty chill guy to a complete piece of shit in just one corner at the end of the race in an Xfinity race, all because somebody else flipped him off.
Well, we've seen plenty of drivers piece of shit on a certain turn.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs, Chandler Smith, um, Ross Chastain, even at times, and a lot of turns. Denny Hamlin in a lot of turns.
Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon, yeah. Your guy Austin Hill has pulled some of those moves. We unfortunately hate to bring those memories up for you, but oh boy, Sammy Smith. I don't know. I don't know how a chill guy just turns into such a dick in one turn. I really don't.
Well, he's NASCAR's new public enemy number one right now.
He is, but we'll see what happens with any penalties. And oh, I forgot to mention, there was a disqualification after the Martinsville race.
Eric Jones.
Eric Jones got disqualified after the race. Jones finished 24th, and he is disqualified due to the car failing to meet minimum weight in post-race inspection. So, God, Eric Jones, it's been a bit of a rough season in that 43 car. He's had some speed, but they just haven't been able to piece it all together.
Right.
So I don't know what you do going forward if you're Eric Jones, but you still got a whole season left. But oh boy. Well, that's gonna do it for the Codo Bach pit stop, everyone. Thanks for sticking around and dealing with the chaos on the track and the chaos on this show. Pat's gonna be laughing at me all week, but you know what? I deserve it. It's a bit deserving. I laugh at him sometimes, and you know what? He gets to laugh at me for going to Darlington and going to the Hall of Fame, and I still haven't been there yet.
You will one day, though.
I will one day, whether I'm working in the NASCAR media or as a fan. One of these days it'll happen.
For sure.
But all right, everyone, that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching. Matt Lauterbach here, and joining me is the lucky son of a bitch, Too Tough to Tame, that's going to the track Too Tough to Tame this weekend.
The co-host is going to the Too Tough to Tame track, Patrick Codo.
All right, everyone, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.